Welcome to the Contrarians and to another episode of Battle of the Rock. Tonight, Alice Cooper takes on Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper Killer versus $1 Billion Babies. We're going to do it. We want to hear from you. Let's go. Welcome to the Contrarians and to another episode of Battle of the Rock. Tonight, see Dave is full of anger. So's Dan. Rich is a little bit more, he has his composure. Tonight, though, we're looking at Alice Cooper. We're looking at Killer from 1971, which is, a great record. I will say that. How much do I have to really go into on these Alice Cooper records? Because everybody here should probably already know them. So we're looking at Killer, 1971, and $1 Billion Babies. So as with all the Battle of the Rocks, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is watching this, we do want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about these records. And of course, the panel is going to do the same thing. So after doing a lot of these Battle of the Rocks, I've learned it's better just to do one album. We're going to go and listen to everybody on the panel with their take, and I want their rating out of 10. So we'll do Killer first, and then we'll do $1 Billion Babies. We're going to compile it at the end and see who wins the Battle of the Rock. All right. So, gentlemen, nice to see you. Dave, Dan, Rich, how is everybody?
Great.
Very well, thank you.
Awesome. Let's get started. So, I don't know. I'm just going to go Dave, Dan, Rich, me, and we'll just circle around. All right, Dave, you're up. What's your thoughts on Killer from 1971 and your rating out of 10?
Cool. Okay, I'm getting information from this deluxe edition.
Look at him bragging. He's got the deluxe edition.
I did have them. I can't find it.
I've just got the regular one. I've just got the regular Warner Brothers CD.
Well, this has a book in it where all the band members give a oral history behind every single song on the album. So it's like a great cheat sheet for a show like this. Anyway, so Killer 1971. I think of this as sort of like a love letter to Detroit Motor City. Although they're not really from there, I guess Alice. I'm not an expert. Alice was born there though, but then he moved to Arizona, and then the band kind of came up in LA, I think. But Detroit was just really into Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper was in Detroit. It was kind of like a mutual love affair, I think. They kind of adopted each other a little bit. But anyway, what I love about this album is it just shows vision. It shows a singularity of vision. They know what they're doing. It's very well constructed. It's put together perfectly. Not a note is wasted. All the songs on the album are thematically unified. Each song is about a different kind of killer. They kind of cheated on a song or two, but I'll talk about that a little bit. And then it's a Bob Ezrin production, and I think the production's done very well. I think the flourishes that they put on there really enhance the album. And the album's deviant. I really like that about it. It's dangerous. Everybody says rock and roll is supposed to be dangerous. It is.
This show is dangerous, too.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, you might get some bad ideas here. So the song starts out with the album starts out with the song Under My Wheels, which just rocks. I mean, that is the best. In case you never noticed this before, because I didn't really, but now that I listened to it a bunch of times, and the guitars are kind of screaming in the beginning, and it's supposed to sound like squealing tires. And then there's a drum break that comes in, and it's supposed to sound like an explosion. And I didn't really know that, but then once I learned that, it really made a lot of sense to me, and it's just perfect. It's just a straight ahead rock song. It's under 3 minutes, and it's about a guy that runs over his woman with his car. That's just mean, low down rock and roll. I mean, it's just awesome. I can't say I love the song so much. And it has horns. The band didn't want to put horns on it, but the horns sound great. Okay, Be My Lover. That's just kind of a glammy rave up. It's sexy, you know? So, that's what that song is about. It's not really about a killer, but the band kind of decided that maybe though she's like a lady killer, she's like a man killer, you know. But anyway, it's just about being in a rock band and getting with women. It's kind of simple like that, you know. It's
kind of like a Kiss album.
It's cool, sure. Well, that's kind of glammy too. I kind of put that in the same kind of category, that and like Bowie and Kiss. Although admittedly I'm not a Kiss fan, but I do kind of think it belongs in the same category. Just like kind of glammy sound, and this song does sound a lot like Sweet Jane, the main chords. The band wrote it before they heard Sweet Jane, and then after they heard Sweet Jane, Michael Bruce kind of went like, I guess that kind of does sound like that. In case you never noticed, though, Rush, the end of the Necromancer, Return of the Prince, which actually came out as a single, has the same little Sweet Jane chord change there, but I like that song a lot. At the end of it, the song sort of slows down, and it sounds like some showgirls might be giving a high kick there, like the Rockettes or something. They do that a couple times on these albums. They're because they're theatrical. They're a big show. Halo of Flies. Oh wow. Okay. So it starts out with a very sinister chromatic riff. It sort of bounces back and forth. And it goes into these keyboard blips. I just love that when he goes blip 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 ding 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 blip blip blip. That is so cool. It's it signals some sort of state of emergency or impending evil, and then it starts to gallop along. And then when it finally breaks into the verses, it's sort of got this wah-wah psychedelic sitar 60s sound. It's just all really good. Alice, I guess, and the band got tired of hearing that they were just all about gimmick, and so they literally said, let's write a prog song. And so what they did was they took all these little different parts of spy movies and put the theme from the Avengers in there and James Bond and just kind of mixed a bunch of stuff up. The band said that this album is composed of a medley of germs, which means they took a bunch of germs of different ideas and then they just kind of stuck them all together. But it really works like a coherent work of art from beginning to end. I just think it's awesome. And then once he says, "You will never understand" at a certain part. Right before that, he's talking about how he has to defeat the Halo of Flies, and that's sort of like the James Bond Spectre organization. So he's trying to get them, and so that's what the song is about. It's I love it. He says you will never understand, and at almost a 6 minute mark, there's this bass and drum groove part where it's sort of a call and response, which just builds up. It's fantastic. And then it moves into this looping up and down rip that goes, and you kind of feel like you're getting seasick or something like that. It's just incredibly well done. It builds intensity to this climax, and then the final pulses of the song, and it's just like drop the mic, boom. Mind is blown. I can't say enough good things about Halo of Flies. That's just a 10 out of 10. Desperado is a cowboy ballad that turns into sort of a snarling intimidation in the chorus. Alice Cooper said, quote, "I sang it the way Jim Morrison would sing it." And it does sort of sound like that, although I think Michael Bruce came out later and said, "We were never talking about Jim Morrison when we made that song. Alice just made that up later." Sounds right to me, though. That was the first time Bob Ezrin ever made a string chart. The band did not want to put strings on that song, but they ended up thinking that it sounded fantastic. You Drive Me Nervous. I love the title of that song. It's just fantastic. It's got a head nodding, really scratchy kind of riff. Great kind of rock and roll. There's phasing on the drums. Once the band heard the phasing on the drums on that song, they wanted to put it on every single song. And Bob Ezrin was just like, no, we can't do that. That song's about how parents drive their kids insane. It's got crazy guitar effects and feedback at the end. He's just screaming, nervous, nervous, nervous. It's so much fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much a simple song. I don't really get where the killer is in that song, but that's okay. He says, yeah, the things are getting rougher. This is Alice speaking, suffer. In college, we used to, anytime somebody would complain, my friends and I would tell them suffer. They'd say, oh man, I have a midterm coming up. We'd say suffer. Oh man, we said it so much. All our girlfriends were like, stop saying suffer. So just the fact that he says suffer, it's very Buddhist. Life is suffering, right? And then, so I just think that whole idea is great. He says, you gotta leave me alone in that song, which I think is fantastic too. Dead Babies. Okay, this is eerie atmosphere perfected. You hear the beginnings of seeds of like The Cure and Bauhaus and Susie and Banshees in the beginning. It's punk rock because it's no fun. It's distasteful. I love the line where he says, "Daddy is an agrophile in Texas." He just made up that word agrophile because he liked how Chuck Berry would just make up words like that.
All
So I
comes
thought
back to
that was
Chuck
really
Berry.
cool. um, he kind of there's these Beatles sort of harmonies in this really sick song, that are going la 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 to sort of offset how sinister it is. Really like that part. And it just kills me when he sings goodbye to Betty. He's just like, "So long, Betty," all that. Oh man, that just it completely slays me. And at the end, there's an angry mob that's chasing after Alice because they're so upset and offended at this nasty song that he wrote. And then last is Killer, which tells a story. It sort of starts out with a jungle feel, almost like a Stooges song. I get reminded of the Stooges a lot when I listen to this album. There's some crazy filtered fuzzy guitar multi-tracking going on. Um, at about the 3 minute mark, there's some kind of heavy Doors sort of hits. It all comes back to the Doors once again. They kind of lead into this stairway of multi-track guitar bands that leads down into despair or madness or something. And then you hear this wailing of tortured souls, I'm guessing. You got this drum roll then that leads into this churchy organ with all these incantations. And it just continues its descent into like this noise tornado of like death and execution. And I think that's the song on stage where they would execute him. So this album is a 10 out of 10 all the way through. I can't say enough good things about it. And it was so refreshing after trying to figure out what I liked about Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die to put this album on and go, now that is rock and roll the way that it was supposed to be, full of intention and just perfectly realized. And 10 out of 10, guys.
Right.
10 out of 10. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way.
Dang. 10. All right. Thank you, Dave. 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. This show's on fire. Let's throw it over to Dan. Dan, what's your thoughts on this one and your rating out of 10?
Well, Dave pretty much said it all, so I'm just going to say ditto. No. Joking.
Okay.
You could say ditto.
No. Patrick Swayze.
This is one of my favorites of
Well,
Alice
Dan's
Cooper.
no Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
What's that?
What? Did I?
Forget
Nothing.
it. Forget it.
Nothing. Forget it.
Patrick
Go
Swayze.
on.
Nothing.
I'm going to have to rewatch this now. See
No,
what you
no,
said.
everything's fine.
It's okay. Yeah.
Keep going.
Continue.
But yeah, now what was I saying? Okay, yeah, this is probably my favorite of Alice Cooper's discography. Not my favorite album cover. Like as a kid, I would have never bought this, but the music on this is just great. Under My Wheels, like Dave said, great rocker. Be My Lover. I like it. I don't love it. My friends love it. I just like it. But the best one on the album, this is my second favorite song of Alice Cooper of all time. Halo of Flies. What an epic masterpiece that is. I managed to see it live. The first time I saw that song played live was on the Last Temptation tour that I saw, and I couldn't believe it. I like almost had tears in my eyes. It's that good of a song. Great bass on it. Great everything. Like Dave said, borderline. Well, it is prog there. Yeah, that's one of my favorites right there. Absolutely love it. It's long. And actually live, what he does is, let's say you got your middle, you got your drum set, your drummer right here, and on the side of the drum, you'll have the guitarist with a tom, and on the other side, you'll have the other guitarist with a tom, and then in the middle of Halo Flies, you'll have like a drum solo, and then the middle drum solo, and the two guys on the side would like do a call and answer with the toms. Was so good. So yeah, that's one of my favorites right there. Desperado. On paper, I shouldn't like that song, but I really love it. It's a great song. Saw that one live too on Trash Is the World, actually. And I didn't know it that well at the time. I was just getting into Alice at the time. Side 2, I'm going to put You Drive Me Nervous and Yeah, Yeah, Yeah on the same. They're good songs. I just don't find them great. Okay, but I still enjoy them all. It's probably just my two least favorite of the album, but because the rest is just that good, and when I say that good, Dead Babies, like Dave said, from the point of view, this is one of those rare times. Usually, when people sing songs about a certain subject, they're trying to warn us and something that can happen. But here, something already did happen. It comes from a point of view that, the baby's already dead or whatever there. And I was like, wow, that's a one way to pass on that message. And Killer, the last song, I absolutely love playing that on the bass too. It's a great mood song. Ends with that, I don't even know what that zzz at the end there with the people in the court, and that little zzz, and then just stops there. I'm not sure what that is there, but sounds cool. And it ends an album well. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 just because of those two songs, the two first songs, Yeah, 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 and You Drive Me Nervous. Like I said, I find them good, but like I tell everyone, you want to hear a great song, just listen to Halo of Flies. To me, that is pure masterpiece right there. Musically, lyrically, everything, it's got the whole package. And live is even such a treat because they elongate, is that a word? Elongate it?
Elongate, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, they elongate it with a drum solo, a bass solo. Chuck Garrick will be like, dun, 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 dun. I love that part at the end. Love it. So, yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for me.
9.5. Dan is coming in with a 9.5. We've got a 10 from Dave. What is Rich going to come in with? Rich?
Well, not only is this my favorite Alice Cooper album, it's actually one of my all-time favorite albums. It was one of the first hard rock albums I got into, and it made a big impression on me as a kid, and I still love it all these years later. And I think that every song on it is really, really good. Every song has its kind of own unique individual personality to it. I think it's a really great sounding album, especially for like late night 1971. It's like it's polished and it's loud and you can hear all the instruments. I think it's definitely a step up production wise from Love It to Death. And also, the arrangements are a little bit more complex. There's string arrangements, there's horn arrangements, so I think it was like also the album where Bob Ezrin really stepped up as a producer and arranger. And I like every song from it. My least favorite is Under My Wheels, probably because it has this 50s rock feel to it that I don't know. I don't really like the 50s rock and roll side of Alice Cooper that much. But I love Be My Lover. Me and my youngest brother, Tom, used to perform this at open mics together with him playing guitar and me drumming on something and singing. Halo of Flies, again, not only my favorite Alice Cooper song, one of my favorite songs of all time. I just think it's incredible. There's so many cool parts to it. I love that beginning, and then this is what he plays on the cymbals. That it's just so cool, and there's a lot of cool parts to it. My favorite part is the drum and bass section, and I love that solo that Neil Smith plays. That I just think that's so cool. It's like it's one of the few drum solos you can actually sing along with. It's like, and it's not too long. It's just perfect. It's and the rest of the song is really cool. And I just think it's an amazing song. Definitely my favorite Alice Cooper song of all time, and it really shows off the band on that a lot. And that's another thing that I like about this album is that it wasn't just about Alice Cooper; it was about the whole group. And then Desperado, that's another one that my brother and I used to do, and I used to sing at karaoke a lot. And they do something in this song, which they do, I think, about half the album. They'll do one verse with minimal percussion on it, and then they'll come in a second time and they'll do it with full bass and drums, and they do that. I think in about at least about half the songs here. They do that at one point or another during the songs. And then side two, "You Drive Me Nervous." I've always liked that one a lot, and yeah. That's again what I think is one of the weaker songs, but I think I love the instrumental section, and that's the cool thing about the Alice Cooper group is that. Especially on this album, they really had exciting instrumental sections. Even though they weren't the best musicians, they knew how to write a really good instrumental section. So that, to me, is the highlight of Yeah. Dead Babies, in that box set of Alice Cooper's. He says, "Our most misunderstood song," but it's kind of his fault for that because of the way his on stage presentation of it with chopping up baby dolls. I mean, it doesn't really, it's the song. I feel like it misrepresents what the song is really about. It's about child neglect, and that to me it's another highlight of the album. It's another progressive song, I think, like Halo of Flies, and a lot of cool parts to it. I like that heavy riff that comes down, 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 and then another favorite melody of mine is that down, 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 down. Anyhow, just lots of cool parts to it, and it all fits together really, really well. And I actually like the horns on this song. I think the horns really kind of enrich the song and make it even better. Killer, I've always thought it was a great song. I like the whole thing. I like, Alice Cooper doesn't sing too much in it, but he makes the most of, when he does come in. And I really don't know what else I have to say about this song, except I always thought that maybe that part with the organ, the organ and drums maybe goes on a little bit too long, but that's the only criticism I have of that song. I think it's a really exciting song. I think that they were really, this is before they really kind of got a sense of humor about themselves. I thought this was generally a very scary album at times. I think it's a dangerous, it was a dangerous record. And I just love it. Again, Halo of Flies, one of my all-time favorite songs. I'm going to give this a perfect 10.
Damn. All right. Perfect 10.
Yeah.
Jesus, I never know what you guys are going to do. So,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Oh, Rick.
What's your score?
Bringing it in hard. All right. My thoughts on this record. I think that this is, over the previous record, I think this is an improvement. I think the production's getting better. Though Bob Ezrin, I think, whatever he wants to do always seems to work. I always consider Bob Ezrin like how many members are in Alice Cooper? 5? The 6th member of Alice Cooper? Because he was so integrated into the band, other than Muscle of Love. But what I'm trying to say, once he got a hold of him, he knew exactly what to do with the band.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Killer, I think that there's probably a better album after this. This is a good record, but this is the cornerstone of shock rock. I think it really shows Alice Cooper's ability to blend that dark theatrical type of rock and roll into the mainstream to some degree. You've got it's raw. You've got prog flourishes on it. Like you said, Halo of Flies. Prog. That is a prog track. Freaking top notch on this record. I have to agree. Dead Babies. Rich was talking about the whole thing where it's talking about child abuse. Yeah. Maybe Alice on stage cutting up little babies. Maybe that's really the wrong way to address it, but okay, it is what it is. It's all about theatrics.
Yeah.
It's all part of the show, baby.
Yeah.
Right. But Bob Ezrin's production, this record just sounds absolutely brilliant. I mean, the way he just keeps pushing the envelope. I think it even gets better. Well, okay, we're going to look at Billion Dollar Babies here in a moment, which is more polished than this. So, I mean, your mileage may vary whether you like Billion Dollar Babies and it's more polished effort as opposed to Killer, but it's all good. What would I rate this record? What would I give this? Because I think uh, the Alice Cooper band is one of those bands I think got improved over time.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got a 10, we've got a 10, we got a 9.5, but I still think that there's room to grow. Now, Muscle of Love, I'm not going to count that. That's a different animal.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that record. It's a little bit different. It's almost like a step back, but we're not talking about this. What would I give this? I still consider this kind of that early Alice Cooper sound. It's aggressive. It's theatric. I think it's better. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I don't think that this is peak Alice Cooper yet, because I think side 2 kind of drags a little bit. Side 1 is like a perfect side. I think side 2 maybe just a little bit, but it's still worth having. If you're into just getting into Alice Cooper, ladies and gentlemen, you can go out and buy this record as a starting point and you'll be just fine. I have to rank these things somewhere. It's almost like I'm doing an album ranking. They have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this an 8.5, though. I probably could rate it. Maybe I'll give it a 9. Damn it. I'm going to go with a 9. I think 8.5.
Good for you. Good for you.
But I mean, it's damn near as good as some other records we may talk about. I'm not going to talk about them yet.
Okay.
Anyway, so we've got a 10, we've got a 9.5, we've got a 10 and a 9. What this comes up with is a damn good record. We've got a 9.6.
Cool.
Now, we're going to look at Billion Dollar Babies. That came out in 1973. Again, this is considered the commercial creative peak. I'm going to throw it over to the panel and see if that's true. Most of the critics back in the day thought that this was the ultimate, this is the creative peak. I'm going to throw it over to West Coast Dave and get his thoughts on this. Dave, what's your thoughts on Billion Dollar Babies and your ranking out of 10?
Cool, thank you. This one, I had to track down the vinyl because I wanted to get the cool stuff that comes in it. We got the trading cards. I'll trade you a Neil Smith for a Dennis Dunaway after the show, maybe. Got the it's got the $1 billion bill in the billionaire's wallet here. Oh, I have the words turned out. There's a great photo of the band I should have had up there. But anyway, really cool package. I had to track it down on eBay with all the stuff in there. So that's why.
So is that an original pressing?
Yes.
So is that a green label? Probably. Is it green?
You want me to look in there or what?
100%, Dave. You're coming on this damn show. I want you to open that record up.
Like I said, though, I'm not an expert about this kind of stuff. So it's got
it's the palm tree
label. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't remember if the palm tree. Well, I know the palm tree was later. It still has all the goodies in it, though.
Yeah, I made sure. I wanted all the goodies. Definitely.
Wait a minute. Whoa, Dan. What is that? Why has that got a gray label?
That's the green. It's green. It's like
you've got a green label.
Avocado green kind of.
Is that the Canadian press?
I think there are some U.S. pressings that also had that.
I think it originally came out in green, and then the palm tree came later. But that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm just asking. I'm trying to keep this interactive, ladies and gentlemen.
Canada, yeah, it's a Canada pressing.
See, those don't count. Well, we have the master tapes. We're giving
and one I
guys
didn't
in
hear.
Canada copies, so it's not like that hot. I'm just joking, Dan. All right, go. Sorry, Dave. Keep going. Jesus.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, like you said, I definitely think this album's a little more refined overall. They are the $1 billion babies. 1973, they're newly rich and famous. This album went to #1 in the UK and the US. Some just fun facts for you. At some point, Alice thinks that at some point on the record, members of T-Rex, Keith Moon, Harry Nilsson, Ringo Starr, and Donovan are all on the album somewhere. But I guess they were kind of distracted when they were making the album. So I think Donovan gets the credit for singing on Billion Dollar Babies.
Yeah, you can hear Donovan on that.
Does the other voice, yeah.
But then all those other people might also be on it somewhere. Also, Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter were brought in on guitar because Glenn Buxton was ill. This album is, Alice said it was about an exploitation of perversions, which makes a lot of sense because each of the songs is about how people are perverted in some way. I just love this band's sense of humor. It slays me. Anyway, so it starts out with Hello Hooray, which they did not write. Some guy named Rolf Kemp wrote it, but it's very theatrical. And this is even more amped up on the whole, like, hey, this is a big show and a big production than Killer was. It's got a theatrical, majestic opening to it. We haven't really talked about Alice's voice yet. I think Alice is a great singer. He's very distinctive in his own way. He doesn't have range or anything, but he just does so many interesting things with his voice that I don't really hear other people doing very often. He's got this real nice, controlled sort of yelling style on the chorus to the song that I think is done very well. There's this manic kind of sounding slide guitar solo. I just think when he's singing about God, I feel so strong. I know he didn't write that. It's just powerful. It's really, really good. And I can see why they opened shows with that song for so long. I don't think I can say the title of the next song on YouTube, but it's about a hitchhiker who gets... You can't say the wrong word.
Huh?
Can you say... Yeah, I thought you're not supposed to say rape or suicide.
Oh, don't say that.
Really?
No. Facebook doesn't like that.
I won't tell on you.
I just said them both.
Of course, you just said it.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble now. Call the police.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wrote down that's about a hitchhiker who gets the ride of his life and is left stranded in Mexico. And then so cue that Latin sounding ending, and I don't know, sounds like he's kind of losing his mind. A woman took advantage of him there. Elected. To me, the song sounds a lot like The Who. There's big open power chords in there. And what he's doing on the chorus when he says he wants to be elected and respected, speaking of his voice, the way he just keeps turning and getting more and more intense with it is crazy. Man, it sounds like he's choking to death.
Sounds like he's taking a dump.
It is nuts, man. Oh, and when he says, I want to be elected, I think he invented half of the Ramones song titles right there, probably.
Probably.
If you apply the song to modern political events, I think it's the scariest song on either album because it's about the cult of personality and about how it's his perversion just to be elected and respected. And he names all these problems that all these different cities has, and then he says that he doesn't care about any of that. So he's just in it for himself on that one. The song also has horns, which usually I wouldn't be a huge fan of, but I think it's all done very well still, just like the Killer album. There's studio tricks around, the bass line. Dan was talking about some of the bass riffs. This is the album where I think the bass playing is just insane. What's his name? Dennis Dunaway, I think.
Yeah.
The thick bass line that closes the song out, it just really gets your head nodding. I love it. Billion Dollar Babies. Now, even though I like all the other songs so far on this album, when this song starts, I'm like, now we're talking. All right. The riffs, I think they're kind of snaky riffs, and they kind of sounding like they curl around each other. It's just very, very well done. The speed and the urgency of the song is really fun. And the bass, Dennis Dunaway's bass is ridiculous. There's right at the beginning, he's doing this like tremolo picking where he goes, and it's like, whoa, that is mind blowing. He does it a few times during the song. It makes me want to learn how to play the song on bass for sure. Unfinished Suite. That song is about sitting in the dentist chair, of course, if you listen to it, and they have to remove his gums. They say his teeth are okay, but we have to remove your gums.
How is that going to happen?
It's just, another instance of Alice Cooper's kind of body horror stuff he likes to get into. And then they got all those drill noises in there. There's this sinister instrumental passage where they explore some movie themes again, kind of like going back to the Halo of Flies a little bit, where it sounds like some spy movie stuff in there. And then the song sort of becomes one big effect of studio trickery with all these embellishments. And I kind of think it sounds like he maybe has like a pounding headache, and then he kind of maybe he's like getting what's the nitrous oxide is getting put under maybe, and his mind is kind of swirling around, and then it sort of comes back and it evolves into this Stonesy sort of rave up, and then it sort of passes. He kind of passes out maybe in the dentist chair, sort of, and then it sort of revives itself, and he's kind of groaning, like, oh, like that really hurt. And it's just incredible the way they put all these sound effects together to make the middle of the song. There's so much in there. And a note that I have on my paper too is that the lyrics and the music on both of these albums are just crafted perfectly together to set a mood. For like every song.
Yeah.
No More Mr. Nice Guy. That's a great pop hit with a catchy guitar riff. It's not really something I ever really liked that much, and I don't really know why. I like the very beginning when he says, I used to be a sweet, sweet thing before you got a hold of me. I think that's great. But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like just not my favorite. I think it might be their most played song ever live.
School's out and that probably.
It's cool though. If I was seeing Alice Cooper live and they played it, I would totally be into it. So that's about a guy who's so sick and obscene that he gets punched in the face at church by the Reverend. Cool. Generation Landside. I love that song. It's very epic. It kind of sounds like The Who again. It's got a really great acoustic and bass intro where they're kind of interweaving the lines together. It sounds really nice. And it's got this little drum trot to it. The song's about overindulgence and consumerism, just people with too much money, just wasting it on expensive stuff. There's this really nice harmonica breakdown, and Alice Cooper played the harmonica, and I think he sounds like he's really talented at playing the harmonica. And I am going to use the word orgasmic to describe the psychedelic guitar solo.
Dan, can he say that?
I say it all the time, so yeah, he can.
Okay. Rich, can he say that?
I'm fine with it.
All right, as long as you guys are fine, go ahead and use it, Dave.
I got a couple left. Sick Things, right? This song to me just says, sit down, all you wannabes, all you Marilyn Mansons, and anybody else who's trying to be hard and is trying to shock people. You just can't compete with this. It already got done already, so maybe you should have just tried something else. The horns are back, and they're enhancing the mood again. I don't know how he's doing it, but
Alice has always had horns on all these albums.
Yeah,
and Ezrin knows exactly. I think Bob Ezrin, as far as producer, always knows. His instincts are really good. The horns always work. You listen to even later stuff, and Alice has horns on it too, and it works. It works. It just works.
Yeah.
I don't always like that kitchen sink approach to producing, which kind of seems like is on this album, but I totally agree with you 100%. I think it all works.
Yeah.
I think it's all done very, very well. In the song, he says, you things are heavenly when you come worship me. That is great writing right there. If Alice wrote that, whoever wrote that really knows what they're doing. There's all these crazy sound effects, and then there's these mechanical creaking and scraping. And then there's this great rock ending, and then there's a little spooky piano outro. It's all done very well. Marianne is sort of an unexpected song. I like the song. They're not supposed to have songs about chicks. Well, they weren't into that. Like the Alice Cooper band is like, right.
Yeah, but she's probably a dead chick. So
yeah, right. It's okay if she's dead. Right.
Well, that's skipping ahead to the next
she's dead.
Skipping ahead to the next song.
But the song kind of pulls the rug out with a punchline at the end. It just sounds like a love song at first, and then it's like, well, I didn't know she was a man or whatever.
Yeah,
or a man.
That's so you kind of have disbelief at the corny lyric at first, and then you go, oh, okay, that's why they were doing that. They kind of tried to trick me on that one. But the piano playing at the end is just beautiful, I think. And that sort of it turns into sort of like a saloon kind of sound, which I really like. I Love the Dead. Wow. Okay, signature Alice Cooper on that one. It starts with piano-based instrumentation and spoken narration. The guitar is kind of squawking during the verses. I really like that. This song is the definition of sinister, but with a wink and a nudge, sort of like, I love the dead. Ha ha ha. I'm just kidding around.
Mhm.
So it doesn't really seem that serious. But talk about kitchen sink production on this. With the orchestral flourishes, the creativity of the arrangement is crazy. I think it's funny how he says no farewells and no goodbyes because, you're dead. That's okay with him, especially before you get cold. The guitar soloing is just top notch. It's just so great. This sing along chorus, I think, makes a really rousing send off. And once again, it's just, I love the dead. And you can see the Rockettes, once again, I think the kicking their legs high in the air for that. Towards the end of the song, there's an opera singer, wild sound effects, all these complex changes. And then the end of the song is just breathtaking. It's like another sort of mic drop. It's just a perfect end to the song. So yeah, this album, some of the songs I definitely like better than others. It's a fantastic record, though. It's a masterwork again. I do prefer Killer, and I do think Killer is just a little more consistent with the songs. I don't think there's a note wasted on that album. And some of the songs on this aren't necessarily my favorite. I'm going to go 9.5.
9.5.
So just excellent, but
Oh,
not quite as good as Killer for me, but
Yeah.
damn close.
I think you're deaf, but that's okay. I'm not judging.
Hey, it's a fan.
Evidently, you didn't listen to this
9.5.
record.
It's not like I'm crapping on it.
I know. Well, there's no bad records in this catalog. All right. Thank you, West Coast Dave. I
These
appreciate
are both
it.
way better than School's Out, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they get better. All right. Let's sort over to Dan. Dan, what's your thoughts on this record and your rating out of 10?
So I've got vinyl 2. I bought it used. I don't have the dollar bill in it there, so I'm gonna have to.
Oh no. Well, put it down. You gotta have the dollar bill in it when you're showing it.
How I call this one, I call this album the one with the hits, basically.
Look at that.
Show
Look
off.
at that dollar bill.
Show off.
Look at
Dave.
that. Do you have envy, Dan?
Yes, very
Dave
much.
has the dollar bill, and he's
Oh,
got
I love
one of those palm tree labels.
I have a small one that he throws from when he sings $Billion Babies there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the album here, like Grant said, and Dave, it's more polished than Killer. If ever, like I said, I tell people, yeah, this is the one with the hits, basically. Starts off with Hello Hooray, which I actually learned was a cover like maybe a year ago. Great way to intro. Raped and Friesen, also great song. I love when Alice.
The Dead?
I love the Dead too, yeah.
Hey, you set that up. I just finished it.
I love Brass and Alice Cooper, period. Okay, and he's got this album here is chock full of that. And like I said, that second song, which I guess shall remain nameless there, but great. Love that song. Great one too. Elected is my favorite song of all time by Alice Cooper. Absolutely love that song. The lyrics are funny. I don't know if you ever seen the video for that.
I didn't know there was a video for it.
So you got to watch it, and he actually, and it's Alice Cooper band type humor where he's dressed up with the top hat, the white top hat, the tuxedo, but no shirt. He's got no shirt, just wearing a tuxedo, and you can see that he's got, he's bare chested, but white pants. And he goes to some sort of city hall and trying to tell people to go and vote for him. And people are like, what? It's filmed without their knowledge. Seriously, if you have never seen, I recommend it.
I might have seen bits and pieces of it.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's a good video. The band shows up in like a tiny.
What, 1973? That wasn't filmed in 1973. That's a great video.
Yeah.
And
all these bands were doing these. They were just called
promo
promotional
clips, I
videos.
guess.
Yeah, everybody was
called-
doing that crap.
But yeah, this one had a theme and all that, acting and I guess a plot. But yeah, the video is great. But yeah, that's my favorite song of all time, and I absolutely love horns again in this one. Billion Dollar Babies. I at one time I was sick and tired. Now I'm back on loving it. But that drum intro is classic. Like that's one of those drum intros. You're like Billion Dollar Babies. You know, hearing the first couple of notes there. Unfinished Suite to me is another brilliant song. I call it the if the hell's a good song there. Halo of Flies had a sense of humor. It's kind of like the same structure, you know, proggish, like all over the place. And I love that they do that James Bond theme there. They do that on Muscle of Love, on Here. They even said it themselves. We love James Bond. Well, that's another story for another episode there. But yeah, Unfinished Suite, and I actually saw that live too when he did the Last Temptation tour, which was great. I love Alice live because he plays so many, at least 3 or 4 deep cuts per show. Always. Never. And that was one of them that time. Next up, we have No More Mr. Nice Guy, which if I never hear again, it'll be okay. It's a good song.
Come on.
There's 3 Alice Cooper songs I can't stand anymore, which is I'm 18, No More Mr. Nice Guy, and someone said it earlier there. No More Mr. Nice. I forget the other one there, but yeah, it's a good song. Just yeah. Generation Landslide. Well, that's another good song too. Good lyrics. I did not like it at the time, but now I'm appreciating it more. Sick Things is too slow for me.
Uh-oh.
I prefer the version, the speed on the Alice Cooper show, that live album that came like 3-4 albums later on there. But it's to me, it's like God of Thunder by Kiss, you know, Sick Things, same kind of pace, but live is always played faster for some reason. So that one's an okay song for me. Mary Ann is great. Love the humor in that. Great piano. I don't know if that's Michael Bruce playing the piano, but whoever it is at the end, like Dave said, that saloon part, oh my God, that's brilliant.
That's probably Bob playing that.
Is it?
No, I think it might be the guy Alan McMillan. That's what
I'm going to go with Alan McMillan.
Okay.
Yeah, even though
Dave will look while I'm finishing my spiel, and
Dave will look it up. Look it up, Dave.
I Love the Dead, which unfortunately he doesn't sing the whole song when he plays it live. He only plays I Love It Dead basically when he gets his head chopped off, and then the whole band sings I Love the Dead. You know that part there. Again, great album. It's not one that I go to all the time. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Still good. It's because there's
freaking
sick things. I don't really like the speed of it. No More Mr. Nice Guy, as great of a song as it is. Don't need to hear it again. So, but I still like the album a lot there. Just 8.
That's fine. Hey, Dave, we'll never remember we won't invite Dan back on the show.
Alan McMillan.
Alan McMillan?
Okay.
A friend of Bob Ezrin.
Oh, there you go.
Well, see, it all goes back to Bob.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We've got a 9.5 and an 8. Good Lord, man. All right. I'm going to throw it over to Rich. Rich, what's your thoughts on this record?
I think it's a great record. I don't like it as much as Killer, but there's a lot of albums that I don't like as much as Killer because that's one of my all-time favorite albums. I felt like it, with each album, it was becoming more about Alice instead of the band. I consider this more of, his personality was kind of growing stronger, like with each album. And the other band members weren't contributing to the songwriting as much. But I think it's a big improvement over Schools Out. I remember when my brother John and I first heard Schools Out, we thought about half the album was just horrible. Like Alma Mater and Blue Turk. We're like, they followed Killer up with this, and And I've actually grown to like that album a lot better now. Now, Blue Turk is like one of my favorite songs off it. But I thought that Billion Dollar Babies was definitely a better album than School's Out. Um, I remember hearing the versions of Sick Things and I Love the Dead first on the Alice Cooper show. And I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say which ones I like better. But anyhow, I love Hello Hooray. I think that's a great start to the album. It's just kind of like, a great introduction to a concert. It's like, and hello, hooray, let the lights begin. I don't know. I mean, all that stuff. It's really, it's the perfect song for Alice Cooper to sing. And I love him as a singer. I thought he was great back then. I remember, Bob Ezrin wanted him to take each song like it was a different character, and and then there's Raped and Freezing, which isn't one of my favorite songs in the album, but I think it's fun, and I like the Mexican ending to it. I think that's kind of cool. What else? Elected. I've always liked that song. I like the instrumental section in the middle, where they've got all that talking going on, and then Billion Dollar Babies itself, I think that's a terrific song. I feel like Neil Smith should have got a writing credit for that because it's really based on his drum pattern that he plays at the beginning. And I like the back and forth between Alice and Donovan. Well, one of them sings the lyric while the other one, we go dancing nightly in the attic while the moon is rising in the sky. And for the longest time, I did not know that was Donovan on that.
I know, same here.
Yeah, I was like,
great
that's Donovan? It's like, that's cool. Unfinished Sweet's one of my favorite songs on it. And it's another example of they always had really cool instrumental sections. And this is the only song that they really have a long extended instrumental section for. And I love the beginning of it when it's, going out of the verses and they get all those riffs going on at once. And I like it when the Mellotron comes in, and I think it's just a very cool song. No More Mr. Nice Guy, I've always liked. I've maybe heard it a little bit too much, but and the part at the end where he says, I went to church incognito and everybody rose. The Reverend recognized me, punched me in the nose. It reminded me of the end of the movie The Man with the X-Ray Eyes. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's kind of a classic film. I think it came out in like the 60s or something. But it just reminded me of what happens to the main character at the end of that song. Yeah. Generation Landslide, I think it's a great song. I love the lyrics to it. I never really quite understood them, but Alice said it's one of his favorite lyrics of all time that he's ever written. And he said he wrote them really, really quickly. Sick Things, it's okay. I like it. It's not one of my favorite songs in the album, but it's pretty good. Marianne, I love that song. Marianne, I think, it's one of the highlights of the album for me. And I was in a kind of like a folk group about 10, 15 years ago, and I tried to get the group to do this. And the only time we did it is when me and the keyboard player said, "Okay, we're going to do this song, but we're not going to tell the other guys that we're going to be doing it." So we kind of snuck it in. But I like the lyric. At first, I was thinking it could be about Marianne from Gilligan's Island, but
Marianne with the shaky hand.
Who's that?
Off the Who? Who's selling?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know
Come on,
Rich. Well, even though I just got quadrophenia today and started listening to that. And I love the end of the lyric. I thought you were my man. He's kind of throwing like it's a bit of like a Lola twist to it. And I like the piano playing, how it speeds up as it goes along. I think the piano line for that is brilliant. And I Love the Dead is a pretty decent closer. I mean, it's him and theatrical scary mode, even though you can tell this time that he's kidding. He doesn't. It's like I said. I thought Killer was a more dangerous record. This was a little bit more maybe theatrical, and they had more of a sense of humor about themselves on it.
Agreed.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think Grant, you said something about the horn arrangements. I think, but whenever Bob Ezrin used the horns, they used them well. I think on Muscle of Love, I hated the horn section. I thought it ruined.
No Bob, no Bob on that one.
Yeah, and they just, it's like without him, they just didn't know when to put the horn section in to. So anyhow, I think it's a great album. I don't really like Killer. I don't think there's any bad songs on it. But I guess I'm going to give it a 9.5 also. Right. I think it's anything below a 9 is, I think it's great.
All right, cool. All right. So we got a 9.5, an 8, and an 8. God damn.
Sorry.
I'm just surprised at that. I know. I'm just giving you shit. I don't give a shit.
Regarding
I do give a shit because I do like this record, so I'm offended. No, I'm not. All right, so we got 9.5 and 8, 9.5. What's my thoughts on this record? My thoughts on this record is that it is better than Killer. This is the peak to me. I like the production. I like the songwriting. I like the arrangements. The band seems like they're in a good spot. I know we've got like Wagner and we've got Hunter playing guitar on here, but whatever, it's fine. I think it's probably the only maybe critique, maybe it's too polished. I don't find it that way, but I think maybe some of the people on the panel may find it that way. I think it's a perfect blend of hard rock, glam, and shock. This is like the blueprint to things to come. The title track is timeless. The songwriting is top notch. There are hooks galore in this record. What is there not to like about it?
No.
I think it's a perfect amalgamation of what Alice Cooper Band was trying to produce with Bob Ezrin. I think what could they do after this? I think they took it as far as they could go.
Yeah.
So what would I give this? Well, I would probably, is it a perfect record? I'd say that the weakest part would probably be Marianne, because I think it's less memorable.
What?
Hey.
What?
I thought it was really cool that you guys both really liked Marianne.
Oh,
I love it, yeah.
That's okay. It's no Marianne with the shaky hand. I'll give you that. I would give this a 9.5. Wow. I think everybody here has a lot of good points. I think it's better than better than Killer.
Regarding Bob,
I definitely think it's better than School's Out. I think that School's Out was almost like too much Bob Ezrin. He kind of like overdid it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that record.
And I feel like Bob Ezrin backed off a little bit more on this, and he's still there a lot, but I think
he backed off.
I think he backed off a little bit. He kind of just let it be more about the players.
He was there though in a different way. Like I don't know if you guys know how they recorded Elected. When Alice Cooper, what he did, he recorded his vocals in front of a full-length mirror.
Yeah.
And Bob Ezrin says, "You sell to yourself that you want to be elected." Like that was little gimmicks like that they were using, or was it on the first one? I Love It to Death.
Yeah.
He told Alice Cooper to sing that, I want to get out of here from Ballad of the Dark Cry underneath a bunch of chairs. It was very like that. To me, that's how Bob Ezrin was a genius, trying things that people may not know. And that's what he much like Elected. He's like, there's a picture of that scene in the DVD there. So,
holy crap. I just looked at our ratings, our numbers.
And
Killer got a 9.6. $1 Billion Baby's got a 9.1. Even I couldn't save it.
That's all my fault. Yeah.
It's all Dan
Yeah.
destroyed it. It's fine. So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at this, it's just really us talking music and giving each other shit. It's all about, hopefully we can turn you on to stuff. That's all these shows are about. And based on our ratings, you can't go wrong with either record if you're not familiar with them.
I think both of them would be good introductions to Alice Cooper. You know,
100%.
Without doing a greatest hits album.
100%.
I definitely wouldn't start with School's Outer Muscle of Love.
Don't get Muscle of Love first. Though there's nothing wrong with it, but it's quite a different record than the whole Bob Ezrin stuff. And don't get the two first, the pretties and
Easy Action.
Easy Action.
I like Easy Action though. You know what?
I like Easy Action too. Yeah.
I've got a vinyl pressing of that. I've got a vinyl pressing of that, and it is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Which one?
Easy Action.
Easy Action. I got an original vinyl pressing of it.
Nice.
And when you put it on, you swear to God the band is in the living room playing. It is, at least this pressing, absolutely sounds absolutely stunning.
I've always found Pretties for You it's almost like that album was just too weird. You know, they didn't really know how to write songs back then. It was just fumbling about in the studio. I mean, the album definitely has its charms, you know, and
of course
I can see how people love it, you know, and I like it. I just think it's definitely, you know, they've definitely improved afterwards.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Go ahead.
Tuning on that. One of the songs is just them tuning up, basically, apparently.
Yeah, I like it. Work for Rush, damn it. What are you trying to say, Dan? All right. Let's wrap this dog up. I'm sorry, I got another show. I want to thank West Coast Dave. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Dan. We've got Rich. What a great panel. Go get yourself some Alice Cooper and play it. Do it now. Rush to it. But anyway, as we know, Killer beat Billion Dollar Babies by several points. Well, no,
by 0.4.
By 0.4.
It's more evil.
It's more evil.
I think by 0.5. Didn't we give Killer a 9.6 and then
Killer? Yes.
Yeah.
9.6 and 9.1.
Okay.
Close enough. Whatever.
So anyway, if you'd like to be on these panels, we'd love to have you. We have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel that way. Damn it, we'd love to have that. If you don't want to support us via Patreon, we've got a Ko-fi. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. We would love to have that. We also like donations because we love money here on the Contrarians. But you know, the main goal here on the Contrarians is just to turn you on to stuff. That's all we're trying to do. Just turn you on to stuff. Go get you some Alice Cooper and crank it up tonight. All right, gentlemen.
Bye, guys. I enjoyed talking with you.
Keep it clean and wrap the rascal.
Yes.
Ciao. Next time.
See ya.